predetermining overhead rate, everything should be on estimated basis. So I'm again repeating this one. So this is predetermining overhead rate or POHR. If we are using estimated manufacturing overhead, then we must use estimated base here. For example, base is direct labor hours. So my question is, you have to compare apple to apple, which means if the numerator is estimated, then denominator must be estimated as well. So predetermining overhead rate is used to apply overhead jobs that is determined before the period begins. Before the actual production begins, you give this quotation or you give the costing to your department that whether this order is profitable for us or not, right? For that purpose, we would be calculating our manufacturing overhead based on predetermining overhead rate. Of course, that would be also estimated one, right? So when we do the real practical example, this will further clarify your concept. So the denominator, ideally, it should be allocated on the basis of cost driver. For example, the wooden creator that the worker has produced, he spent 8 hours. So we are basing our manufacturing overhead at the basis of direct labor hour. So it means direct labor hour drive our manufacturing overhead. That's why we name this as a cost driver. Why there is a need of predetermining overhead rate or POHR? First of all, using a predetermined rate makes it possible to estimate the total job cost sooner, right? For example, if the customer has given us the order and we take 30 days to process it because we want to calculate the actual manufacturing overhead, then it's too late. Customer can give the order to somebody else, right? So 30 days is, or the longer the time period, then more the chances are that the customer will be having more substitute, or customer will be talking to our competitor as well. So the actual overhead for the period is not known till the end of the period. Sorry guys. So in that case, using the predetermining overhead rate makes it more easier to get the order or reject the order. So how we determine the predetermining overhead rate? We have three process. Number one, we estimate our production level. We estimate the base. It means if we want to find out, so this is the POHR, we find out that this is estimated manufacturing overhead rate divided by estimated units here. If we want to find out the POHR here, we need estimated units, we need estimated manufacturing overhead, right? So let's talk about this. So estimate the level of production, estimate the amount. So estimate the total manufacturing overhead. How we find out? 3 divided by 2, you find out the POHR. And when you find out the POHR, okay, let's find the POHR of this one. So I'm just giving you 5 minutes to solve this question. All you have to do, you need to find out the predetermining overhead rate for the year. And what is the formula? Remember, we are finding out the predetermining overhead rate. Formula would be predetermined manufacturing overhead divided by predetermined units here. So I'm giving you 5 minutes to do this question, and then we do it together. So until then, I assume that everything is clear. Here we go. So I'm just reading the question. So Harris Fabrics computes its predetermined overhead rate annually on the basis of direct labor hours. So you find out that the base is, this base is direct labor hours, right? So they are already given you. So at the beginning of the year, it estimated that the total manufacturing overhead would be 134,000 and the total direct labor would be 20,000 hours, right? At the beginning. And its actual total manufacturing overhead for the year was 123,900 and its actual direct labor hours would be 21,000. So if we want to compute the predetermined overhead rate, formula would be estimated manufacturing overhead divided by estimated base. Base is direct labor hours. So direct labor hours, you put the estimated amount, not the actual amount. Remember, we are calculating the predetermined overhead rate, not the actual overhead or estimated overhead rate. So it includes estimated manufacturing overhead divided by estimated direct labor hours. So estimated would be 134,000 divided by 20,000. What is the answer here?
6.7.
6.7, right? I pasted the solution here, right? But my question is, now this is the concept that I want to give you here. So my concept is, we have calculated the predetermined overhead rate based on 20,000. POHR, we calculated 134,000 divided by 20,000. Answer is 6.7. So this 6.7 came from, if the worker in a year spent 20,000 hours, then this rate is our estimated rate, right? But our actual hours that we spent is 21,000. So this cost 134,000, can we compare with 123,900? Answer is no. Why? Because this cost is on the basis of 20,000 hours and this cost is based on 21,000 hours. You are getting my point, everyone? Right? So in order to compare these costs, like we cannot compare these costs with these costs. Why? Because this cost is incurred on 20,000 direct labor hours and this cost is incurred on 21,000 direct labor hours, right? So we cannot say that we did a very nice job or good job or bad job. If a layman, he would say that we did a very good job. Why? Because we estimated that our cost is 134,000. Wow. But actually we used less cost, 123,000. You would be given bonuses and all those stuff, appreciation. No, but the real manager, he will say that, look, this cost is based on 20,000 hours, while the actual cost is based on 21,000 hours. So we cannot compare these costs. We must compare apple to apple. So in that case, we will find out what would be our estimated cost if we use 2100 hours, not the 20,000 hours. Everybody understand my point? Guys, participate.
Yes, yes.
I understand what you're saying, but like I don't really understand because from what I think, this POHR came out 6.7, but I think we can also put the same formula, like 123,900 divided by 21,000, could be like, can we compare like if these two numbers are close, and like I think it should be able to be compared.
So comparison would be, comparison would be this figure. Not this figure. I'm talking about one step further from, you calculated the PUHR, very right, nice. Now the question is, the actual overhead rate is 123,900
It's 5.9.
divided by 21,000. It's 5.9. The thing is not comparing this one. Up till now, step one is completed in allocating the cost. Done. But I'm moving forward. Right? How much? Now question is how much we did not include. If we find out that in our case, because here the data of direct material and direct labor is not mentioned here, only manufacturing overhead. So we estimated more than the actual one, right? Minsu.
Yeah.
So we would be, this is overestimation or underestimation?
Uh,
Overestimation, of course, we overestimate, right? Understand? If we overestimate, the difference is, we call this overestimate or over applied. In that case, we less this number from our actual cost. So these are the actual cost of just manufacturing overhead. We have direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead, which is 123,900. And whatever the number come here, we less is 101,100 from here. So that number is erroneous. Why? Because we cannot just less these two number and find out this amount. Why? Because this amount is based on 20,000 and this amount is based on 21,000, right? So the next concept is under applied or adjustment of and under applied or over applied. So we cannot compare these two one. For that one, we need to convert this figure according to 21,000, according to our actual needs. How we can compare? So let's just talk about our next target here. So you understand my point?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now the next step is application of manufacturing overhead, which is the application of PUHR. So in order to calculate what would be our estimated cost if we have used 21,000 hours rather than 20,000, what would be our estimation cost? Simple, you multiply the actual hours multiply by the predetermined overhead rate, which means you multiply 6.7 with 21,000. What would be the answer here? 6.7 multiplied by 41,000. It means we would be writing down 140. Now we can compare this estimated manufacturing overhead with the actual one. Right, Minsu? Because we estimated based on 20,000, what will be our estimation if we had used 21,000 rather 20,000? And then we can compare, right? Remember, application of manufacturing overhead is, you calculate PUHR 6.7, very nice. And now multiply 6.7 with the actual activity to find out the